Do you ever think how people make relationships or friendships? People who work together, live together, or practice together make strong rooted relationships. In extreme condition, some people act together, think together, or when one person wants to call the other person does the same, or even get diseases together. What is the secret behind that? Even some families that live their lives together for many years still don't build strong bonded relationships. What is the reason behind that? Now, I'm going to explain how these relationships work between people. There are two communication systems in our body, the endocrine system and the nervous system. The endocrine system uses hormones as its chemical signal, and the nervous system uses neurotransmitters as its chemical signal. The endocrine and the nervous system work together and have the control of basic behavioral activities, such as stress and emotion. And it also regulates body functions like growth, reproduction, and metabolism. We have several endocrine glands in our body that secrete hormones, such as thyroid, pancreas, adrenal gland, and the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is the main gland in our body. It's the master gland. And all of these hormones are synthesized in the hypothalamus in the brain. And right now I'm going to show you how these hormones work inside our body. Hormones are synthesized in the hypothalamus and regulated by the pituitary gland. It is a master gland which secretes hormones in the circulatory system in response to the stimuli. It travels through blood vessels and it binds to the receptor of the target cell. The hormone receptor complex regulates protein synthesis. The new protein activates or deactivates genes to control our physiological functions. The nervous system is a very complex system in our body, and the smallest unit in our nervous system is a neuron. And there are approximately 100 billion neurons in our brain. And then there are neurotransmitters, which are chemicals that relay signals in between these neurons. And the brain uses these neurotransmitters to tell our heart to beat, our lungs to breathe, and our stomach to digest. What we have here is a close-up diagram to what was happening to the neurotransmitters in between the axon terminal and the dendrite. In this case, it's the transmitting neuron and the receiving neuron. So, inside the axon terminal, there are these small purple circles that we had in the past diagram, and these are known as the vesicles. And inside these vesicles, we have these neurotransmitters, these red dots that we have. And then what happens to the neurotransmitters is that they will leave the vesicle, and they'll go onto the receptors of the receiving neuron, which are these orange boxes. They're going to the receptors, and they'll go inside the dendrite, which is the next neuron. And then the new cell stimulates and pushes all the neurotransmitters to other neurons, and then it's finally sending it to the brain. We already saw how hormones and neurotransmitters work in our brain and our body. Now I'm going to show you which hormones and neurotransmitters are responsible for creating deeply rooted relationships. Oxytocin is known as the love hormone, or a social hormone, but is mainly known as a powerful hormone, and it acts as a neurotransmitter. It is synthesized in the hypothalamus and regulated by the posterior pituitary gland. It is produced in the nerve cells, as well as the gland cells. So when oxytocin level increases, the neurotransmitters dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine increases. For instance, when you see a person whom you want to make a relationship or a friendship, your oxytocin level increases. The three neurotransmitters that you see here are the three main important ones for our brain. So, norepinephrine is a hormone and a neurotransmitter that is produced by the adrenal gland, and it is synthesized from dopamine. This is responsible for concentration and making more energy. Dopamine is responsible for motivation, reward, and clarity, and serotonin is responsible for satisfaction. So this concludes to the oxytocin plus dopamine plus serotonin and plus norepinephrine complex, which stimulates the thinking and emotional brain. And the brain stimulates and passes signals to make friendships, as well as the brain will study the person deeply and eventually making a strong bond with the person.
Also, when both brains communicate with each other, the relationship becomes stronger.
So I developed a theory, which is a silent hormone plus neurotransmitter complex. This theory explains the deeply bonded relationships between people. These group of hormones and neurotransmitters are responsible for any teamwork, family relationships, or any group activity that is successful. I developed a theory called the silent hormone neurotransmitter complex communication theory, which explains how our brain and body, with the help of hormones and neurotransmitters, make strong bonded relationships between people. I hope that we can all make strong bonded relationships not only in our society, but all over the world. Hopefully this creates a harmonic and a peaceful world.